Hello dear chess friends, in this video I would like to analyze King's Indian defense using an example of my game. This is a very memorable game for me as I was able to demonstrate deep opening preparation and to make a very beautiful attack on my opponent's king. This game was played in the third round of Moscow Open Chess Tournament in 2018. And let's start our recap. I played white in this game and I played d4. He played knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, and we got King's Indian defense. Of course, I expected this line because my opponent is very experienced chess player in this system. He played a lot of his black's games in this opening, and he won many beautiful games. So I decided to switch my opening choice. Normally, I played knight to f3 in this position, but in this game I prepared a rare Averbach system, bishop to g5, because normally my opponent played knight x6 detaps, and I had some ideas to surprise him. After bishop g5, black normally plays knight to a6 or c5 or h6 and then c5 after bishop's retreat. For example, I can show you an example line. h6, bishop e3, c5. White has a choice. White can take the pawn on c5 after queen a5, bishop d2, queen c5, knight f3, bishop g4. We have the position which is very similar to classical Marat's system, which can appear in different openings, in Sicilian, in King's Indian, and other lines. So instead of dc5, white can also play d5, e6, transposing to Benoni type of the position, queen d2, ed5, ed5, king to h7 because the pawn was under attack, h3, rook e8, knight f3, bishop to f5, and then black wants to trade the pieces after knight e4, and after this black's position should be okay. In the game my opponent played knight to a6, I played knight to f3, he played h6, bishop h4, knight h5. That's a typical idea. Black wants to exchange white's bishop on h4, playing g5, then bishop g3, and then knight to g3. Typical idea for such opening. So I played queen d2, that was my preparation. He played g5, bishop to g3, and very interesting opening position emerged on the board. Black tried many different ways in this position, many different moves. If you want to learn more about white strategy, I would like to recommend you to analyze a very interesting game which was played between Sergei Ivanov and John Nunn. Nunn played f5, e takes f5, bishop takes f5, castle c6, rook d1, queen d7, and white played a good strategical move, d5. After this move, pawn on e7 became weak, knight takes g3, h takes g3, c5, bishop to d3, knight c7, rook e1, and white got very pleasant advantage, which white managed to convert to the full point. That's a very instructive game, and if you want to play this line with white, I highly recommend you to learn this game. So the computer suggestion here is to play e5, and the engine's evaluation that black's is completely fine. In the game, my opponent played e6. That's a different plan. He wants to do the same like John Nunn played against Ivanov, but he wants to take on f5 with his pawn. After f5, e takes f5, e takes f5, and then f4 would be a problem. My bishop can be trapped. So I played e5. That was also a part of my preparation, of course. Now after knight takes g3, h takes g3, my rook is open, his pawn on h6 is under attack, and this position can be dangerous for him. So he made a very logical move. He played g4, I played bishop h4, queen d7, and it looks that white's knight is under attack. Also that black got very strong counterplay in the center because my pawn's hanging in the center. I played queen e3. Once again, these moves were my preparation. So white knight is under attack, but white is playing for dynamical advantage. White wants to play for initiative because after g5, g4, black's king became weak. I remembered an interesting game, very old one, after f5, castle queen c6, Alexei Alexandrov won against Vlastimir Babula. I can show you the beginning of this game. I remember just the character of the game, that white made the long castle and then white managed to open the position on the king side and won the direct attack. So in the game my opponent made the most principal move. He took my knight, bishop takes on f3. After knight b4, a long castle, knight on h5 is trapped and white's position is better. So he played d takes e3, d takes e5. I can't capture the knight because of the fork, of the double attack. So d takes e5 should be played, of course. Knight b4, threatening the fork on the rook, on the queen and on the king. I should make the castle, knight c2, queen e4, knight takes c1, bishop takes h5. And this position was still the part of my preparation. I remembered kind of commentaries. I don't remember who was the author of these commentaries, but I remember that the position, the current position is completely safe for white, because white's initiative too strong. Black still needs to finish his development, and some black pieces still under attack. And the conclusion of this system was that black should make a few very accurate moves to equalize the game. And as I realized after the game, f5 was the only move to play for black in this position. E takes f6, bishop f6, bishop f6, rook takes f6, rook takes a1, and according to computer this is 0-0, but in human point of view I guess that it should be much better, much easier to play for white, because black's king is much weaker anyway, and white has approximately even material situation. So I basically prefer to play this position with white, of course. Another interesting move to discuss is queen to d2, trying to win the pawn on b2. After this move, I guess white is winning after queen g4, threatening knight e4 or bishop f6. King h8, knight e4, queen is under attack, bishop f6 is coming, white's position is completely winning. In the game, my opponent played knight to c2, and this was the first moment then I started thinking, because I did not remember what is white normal reply on knight c2. So firstly I checked the most natural queen takes c2, but then I saw that he has an important queen d4 move. My bishop is under attack, pawn is hanging, another pawn is hanging. I can play bishop to g3, queen to c4, and later he can play b5, opening the bishop, then bishop comes to b7 with a good position for black. The computer's evaluation is 0-0. So I decided to find something else, and I decided to start an attack. I decided to add my pieces which are not taking part in the attack. So I played rook d1, a very strong move, and after this move the computer evaluation is that white is completely winning, because I have a big material advantage in my future attack. He played queen to c6, offering the queen's exchange. Of course, I should play queen g4. After this move, bishop f6 is a threat. Queen c2 was not the idea for me anyway, because queen c4 was possible for black. So yeah, during the game I calculated this line, king h8, for example, to avoid the next pin. I can continue bishop f6, bishop f6, it takes f6, rook g8, and it seems that black is doing fine, but white can distract the rook. White is playing rook d8, and after rook d8 this position is hopeless because queen g7 is unstoppable mate. For example, rook takes, queen g7, black is losing. So in the game my opponent played king h7, avoiding this line. Now after bishop f6 he can take and play rook g8 because now rook d8 is not the pin. So I decided to improve my knight. I played knight to e4. After knight e4, knight f6 or bishop f6 are coming, and black has to do something to protect the king. He played bishop to d7. I also calculated the line bishop takes on e5, bishop f6, and okay, after bishop f6, knight f6, king h8, bishop f7, white is winning. This line was easy, but for some reasons I calculated rook g8 a lot. I was in very creative mood during this game, and my first idea was to sacrifice the queen. So white sacrificed the rook. Now it's time to sacrifice the queen. Also, white sacrificed the knight in the beginning. So bishop e5, rook g4, knight f6, king g7, knight takes g4, king f8, rook d8, queen e8, bishop to g7. This is the line I calculated during the game, and it looks very interesting. And then white is winning because of h4 and then h5, h6, and black's position is hopeless. But of course, after rook g8, white can win this game much easier, just playing queen to g8, and it's forced mate because of this rook d8 and then rook h8 mate. Yeah, for some reasons I decided to make my task much harder, but my opponent played bishop to d7, trying to finish his development. I played bishop to f6, rook g8 should be played, bishop f7. My opponent played bishop to h6. After this move, I found the shortest way to win the game. My pieces completely dominate the king side, so it's time for decisive combination. Please stop the video and calculate the winning line till the end without missing black's counterplay. And bishop g7 is the right solution of this position. After bishop g7 I played queen to g8, king h8, knight g5. The last important move of the game. Here my opponent resigned. The last black's chance was here. If I'm playing knight f6 instead of knight g5, then suddenly he can sacrifice the queen, playing queen to g2, opening the g file, then bishop f6, and suddenly the position is drawish. I can play rook d7, rook g6, bishop g6, capture on c2, and it's equal. So yeah, the point of knight g5 was that now after queen takes on g2, king takes on g2, bishop f6 is not the pin and I can mate him. So after knight g5 my opponent resigned. Yeah, another idea for black was to take on g7 with the rook, but then knight f6 just mated one. I hope you like this game, and in my opinion this opening system is alive even in our days, and you can play it with white, with black. The positions remains very complicated. Please like and subscribe to my channel, make comments, it helps me to promote my videos. Good luck and see you in the next videos.